Hello everyone, this is Bakhtiar, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most important part of your college application. This one thing is like the middle piece of an entire puzzle, something that connects everything, or take it as a web, the middle part that holds everything together. Now what is this? It is the Common App essay, as known as personal statement essay. Today, let's break it down. First of all, what is a personal statement essay? Personal statement, meaning personal essay, is something that reflects you as a person and who you are. First of all, it's totally the opposite of academic. Academic essays are things you write in your school, argumentative essays, literature reviews. Now, your personal statement essay, take it like as it is a autobiography. You're basically talking about yourself. You're writing a biography on who you are and what made you the person you are today and how that will make you a good person in the future. Now that is basically what the personal statement essay is. Basically completing your puzzle. Now when we look at this puzzle, you have your recommendation letters, you have your extracurricular essays, you have your description of the extracurriculars, you have your honors section, your demographics, your country that you're from, your sexual orientation, gender, race, etc. Right? All these things in your application. And a personal statement is something that should connect all these things. It should make sense of your entire application and tell me what type of person you really are. Now this information a lot of people already knew. Now you might say, okay, get to the part on what are the do's and don'ts of the personal statement essay. So let's start and talk about the do's and don'ts of the college application and the personal statement essay. Before we go into the content of what actually is in a great personal statement essay, let's talk about the 5 things that make any personal statement essay very great, or one of the best to be precise. First thing, it's captivative writing. Now what does that mean? That means the first thing that catches an admissions officer's attention is your writing style. It's your hook. It's how you are describing the situation at hand. For example, let's say I want to talk about a time I fell from a tree and I hurt my leg. If my essay starts with, one day, it was a sunny morning and I went to the park and fell from a tree. Now that's something that is very boring and it seems very narrative. But if I say, the tree was so tall that I broke my entire skull when I fell. Now it goes, whoa, he broke his entire skull? Like, what the hell is this guy saying? Now it's causing an admissions officer to think, to be forced to read what I have, because admissions officers are bored speed readers. There are some people who just write rubbish essays. So they've been going through thousands of essays that day, and they don't have any more energy to read yours. And your essay is another problem for them. For that reason, don't give your admissions officer too much of a problem. Don't make it so boring. Make sure that they are interested while reading. Make sure that they can easily understand your language. You're not too complex in your writing. And make sure that they can jump from one paragraph to the other without having to question anything. So the number one important thing of any essay is captivative writing, because no matter how rich in content you are, no matter how great your essay is, if it cannot get the admissions officer's attention, then you have now wasted all of your time. The second most important thing in college application, it's strong personal voice. All good Common App essays are about the writer as a person rather than a list of events or accomplishments. Now what does that mean? I don't want you to basically give me your resume all over again in your personal statement essay. There is a section to put your resume and your activities. So don't just list me all the activities you have. Sure, you can talk about them, only if they have a great importance to the character that you have developed over the years, or it has a big thing to do with the person you would like to be in the future. In that case, it's worthy to mention, but don't overgo with, I have 9 in IELTS, 1600 SAT, or I have participated in soccer and I am the captain of mock trial team, because these things are in your application. If this doesn't define you to a personal level, no need to write about them. The writing style should be personal, and descriptions of the events should be detailed, but should also always draw focus back to the writer's thoughts and insights rather than the event itself. Now, what does that mean? Any event, let's say my dog died, or my mom gave me a detention and I should sit home. These events are normal events that happens in any kid's life. It's not unique. But what's unique, it's how I reacted to it. It's my experience with it and my reflection to it. So don't put too much emphasis on events, but rather on your reflection of the event that happened. And lastly, the best essay will be written in a voice so individually distinctive that it'll seem like the only essays author could have possibly written it. Meaning that if I'm talking about a cancer, for example, let's say I'm talking about a time I had cancer when I was 7. I can say my early childhood memories were that of me going to chemotherapy every day. And every day I went to chemotherapy, I would go with my mom or my father. And every single day, as my condition got worse, I saw my parents fading, their energies depleting. Now this is so sad. An admissions officer knows that this person has been through a lot. But my question to you is, should I accept every single student who had cancer in their life? Sure, overcoming cancer is a big thing in anybody, but it's not about the event. It's not about what happened to you, but it's about how you reacted to it, how you grew from this thing that happened to you. So make sure that your essay is not all about this happened and then this happened and then this happened, but this happened and this is what I did because of it. And your reflection is also there as a big part of your application. The next big thing is authenticity. Now, what do I mean by authenticity? First of all, do not over-exaggerate your accomplishments or the things that you have been through. First thing, you're just a 16, 17-year-old kid. You're not a Nobel laureate, you're not a big academic, you didn't basically solve world hunger, okay? So be authentic. Be honest with yourself and with the admissions officer. They actually like when students kind of give a little bit of vulnerability, some weaknesses they have in their life to show character development. The fourth most important thing is clear personal values. Now, what does this mean? That means you need to outline what really matters to you and basically demonstrate some type of things that you have. Let's give you examples. A good Common App essay will exhibit at least one of the following: selflessness, humility, perspective, as opposed to self-centeredness, a hunger for personal growth, and understanding of the value of relationships, as opposed to valuing personal gain, and an understanding of how much left there is to learn. Now, what do these things basically mean? Let's just not go too much in depth into the philosophy of it or the theoreticals of it. What it all comes down to is, what are your values? Who are you as a person? For example, I am a good Uzbek. I love my tradition. I love the fact that I cannot start eating unless the eldest in my family starts eating. I love the fact that I cannot start eating until every single person is on the table, so we can all start eating at the same time. I love the fact that it's not just you eat and you leave the table. You have to wait for everybody to finish and everybody gets up at the same time. Now, these things gave me patience in my life. That's why I love my culture. I value my culture. I value my family traditions. Now, these things are some of the things that makes me who I am, right? So, what are some of the things that makes you who you are? What are some of the characteristics you have and how did you develop them? In a personal statement essay, it's very important that you have some personal values that you demonstrate as a whole. Now, fifth and last thing, thoughtful insight. Good Common App essays clearly demonstrate that a student has learned something and grown from whatever experience they discuss in the essay. The best essays will focus more on insights and lessons learned and how the student seeks to apply those lessons now and in the future than they do on the experience itself. A student's insights should never suggest they think they are perfect or have preferred something or have perfected something, They should always leave room for further growth and learning because nobody's perfect and you need to demonstrate this. Don't tell them, I am a perfectionist. I like everything being perfect. I am a perfect person. Now, these things are a bit far from reality. No matter how perfect you try to be, or no matter how perfect you tell the admissions officer, they know that you're just a 16, 17-year-old kid. A kid who is not an expert of any sort. So please make sure that you take these into consideration. Now, any essay that exhibits all 5 of the characteristics that I just mentioned above should have successful personal statement essay because, first, capture the admissions officer's attention by having a great writing. 2, have a strong personal voice that is so authentic to who you are. 3, have authenticity and make sure you're not over-exaggerating anything and you're being real with yourself. 4, have clear personal values, things that show me who you are and how you develop these things. And lastly, thoughtful insight into what happened in your life. Now, if you have all these 5 things, you will have a successful personal statement essay. But let's keep going and go through some examples.